Hi and welcome to Monday's topic lesson with me, Miss Medlicott. Today we're going to be doing some drama and we're linking it to the Explorer and our rainforest theme. We're going to be using facial expressions to express characters' feelings in different situations, and we're going to be inferring the thoughts and feelings of characters from the Explorer by Catherine Rundell. So if you need to go and retrieve your copy of the book, I suggest you pause the video now to do so. Okay, so to start with, we're going to be looking at some examples of facial expressions and examples of body language, and to see what kinds of emotions they show. So what I'd like you to do is to look at the pictures that I've put to you on the screen, and I'd like you to pick a few at random. Okay, so that means you choose which ones you want to pick, and try and work out what you think the person is communicating. Which emotion are they showing? Try to think of the situation they might be. So for example, if I look at this picture here of this man in the middle here, his hands are on his head and his face, his eyebrows are slightly raised and his mouth has gone slightly open. Have a go at copying the facial expression. What do you think, which emotion do you think he is showing? What do you think has happened to cause that particular emotion? And you'd need to write down your answers. So for me, I think he's seen something really quite shocking, surprising. It's just taken him completely by surprise. And you put your hands on your head perhaps when you think, I can't believe it. It's that sense of, what on earth is going on? What could have happened? Perhaps he's just heard some news that's just totally shocked him. Maybe he's knocked over a tin of paint all over the floor and he's just thinking, oh no, that's gone all over my brand new carpet. I'd like you then to pick a few of the pictures and to write down what emotion you think that person is showing, and what clues you have. Why do you think that? And also to describe the situation. What do you think has happened for that person to react in that way? Pause the video now to have a go. Okay. So hopefully you've had an opportunity there to pick a variety of pictures, and also to have a go at copying some of the facial expressions. If you haven't had a chance to do that yet, please pause the video to have a go at copying those facial expressions. Okay. Now that you've had a chance to practice some different facial expressions, I want us to have a look at the crash in the Explorer. Which is obviously a key moment in the story. It's the moment that the children are put into the situation in the Amazon rainforest, that the small aircraft that they are travelling in crashes because the pilot becomes very unwell. Now I'd like you to imagine that you are on that plane as one of the children, and that you've been taking off from that plane, going higher and higher and higher into the sky. Maybe it's the first time you've ever been on an airplane. Maybe it's the first time you've been able to see the tops of the trees in that way. You've never had this opportunity before, and you're floating on the air in this airplane. And then suddenly it becomes quite bumpy. So you can have a go at bumping around in your seat, and you think, I don't know why it's becoming quite bumpy. And then suddenly you're tipping downwards, you're leaning forwards, down, 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 down. The plane is losing control. The next thing you know, the plane has crash landed into the Amazon rainforest. You awaken, everything's quiet except there is a burning, and you don't quite know what's going on. You don't know if the pilot is still alive or not. All that you know is now you're amongst the trees. There's a fire that's burning from the airplane, and you know that you've got to get out. I want you to imagine that you are one of the survivors on that plane. What might you be thinking or feeling? What might be going through your mind at that particular moment? How could you use your hands, your eyes and your eyebrows and your mouth to show that feeling, to show that emotion? Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, now that you've had a go at practicing that particular emotion, what I'm going to ask you to do is to take a photo or ask an adult to take a photo of you pulling that particular facial expression. And if you can't do that, then I'd like you to look in a mirror or try to see your reflection and do a quick sketch of what your facial expression is showing and why. So hopefully we're all going to have a record then of the emotion that you are showing at this particular episode, at this particular moment. Pause the video now to have a go. Okay, the next episode I want us to think about and to come up with some ideas for is the raft. And the raft is the floating structure that the children make in order to try and escape along the river to freedom. So imagine you have crash landed in this rainforest and you're trying to find a way back home. You're desperately trying to find a way home. You don't want to be in the rainforest. You're frightened, you're hungry, you're thirsty, you're tired. You've put together this raft and you get onto the raft, onto the water, and you're floating. You're just trying to get your balance. So just imagine now in your seats that you're floating. You're feeling a bit unsteady. You can't quite stand up. Right? Then as you're out on the raft, floating on the water, you see something in the distance. And it's this creature here that looks like an alligator, but you know it's a caiman. How would you feel? What would you be thinking if you see this rippling towards your raft? How would you feel? And on the other side, out of the water, out of nowhere, comes this great splashing sound as this pink dolphin soars up from the water and then splashes back into the water. And you're kind of caught because there's the pink dolphin on one side and then there's the caiman on the other. And you're just trying to get to the city of Manaus, the city on the water. You think you'll be able to be rescued if you manage to get there. So what I'd like you to do, Year 5, is to have a go at pulling an expression to show how you are feeling as you're floating on this raft and you see those animals around you. What would you do? How would you use your hands, your face, eyebrows to express how you're feeling? Pause the video and have a go. Okay, now that you've had a practice, you will need to ask an adult to either take a photo of you pulling that expression, or you can do a sketch of what your expression is showing. It doesn't need to be really detailed. It can just be a quick sketch of what your hands, your mouth and your eyes are showing. And I'd like you to write down what emotion you're going to be showing in this particular situation. Pause the video to have a go. Okay, and that brings us to the last episode that I'd like you to have a go at trying to express, trying to communicate here. It's where we get to the ruined city in the story of the explorer. The children have found these ruins amongst the rainforest, amongst that dense foliage. Unexpectedly, totally by surprise, they've come across a ruined city. And it starts to thunder. We've got the crashes of thunder and the pouring rain. It's like a monsoon that's falling. The huge, huge trees are kind of bowing under the weight of that water. But you're having a great time at it because you've just found something that no one else has seen, you don't think. So you're playing, you're skidding along on the water, getting absolutely drenched, but you don't care. You're even playing in the water, hiding. Maybe you're doing the stuck in the mud game, a tag game. But you're having fun with the other children around you. Even though you're in a desperate situation, it's this moment of pure joy. How would you show your feelings? How would you show what you're thinking at that particular moment in the story? By your facial expression alone. So think, if it's joy you're feeling, how could you show that in your face? How could you show it just by using your hands? Remember, we're just focusing on this part of your body. If you need some help, I suggest you return to the first or the second slide here, where we had all of those pictures, and try and think, okay, is there a facial expression I could copy there? Pause the video now to have a go at showing the facial expression of the character in this moment. Okay, very well done. You had a go at practicing some facial expressions. What I want you to do is, like you've done before, take a photo of your facial expression or draw a quick sketch of your reflection. What are you showing? How have you used your hands, your mouth, your eyes, your eyebrows to show that emotion? Pause the video to do so. Okay, everyone, now that you've had a good opportunity now to try different scenarios within the story of the explorer, your main activity is to choose a scene in particular and create a character's facial expression. So you can choose either Fred, Con, Max or Lila, and I'd like you to choose one of their facial expressions in that particular scene. Okay, so you've got to have a particular focus on the eyebrows, the mouth and the hands. As I said, it does not need to be an absolutely perfect drawing at all. If you want to, you can just literally just draw eyebrows, mouth and hands to show the expression. The most important thing here is that you're getting across an idea of how to show feelings. And I've put these pictures on the screen there to help you. You might, if you're getting a bit stuck for ideas, perhaps one of the characters shows one of these expressions during a particular scene, particularly during the crash of the plane. So have a go at drawing a picture representation of the facial expressions. And don't forget, please send in your works, as I'd love to see either the photographs of you pulling those expressions or your pictures. Pause the video now to do your task. Okay, everyone, that brings us now to the end of today's lesson. Please do send in your photographs or your pictures of your work, as I'd love to see what you've all been up to this session. And I'll see you all again next time. Bye.